All right. I know grown women who were in tears. In fact, a couple of our producers, in fact, one of our producers, who was a guy, I think, was in tears as well. And you guessed it, on the spot with us this evening on Live at 7, Tessanne Chin, in her first television interview since that incredible performance on The Voice. Welcome to Live at 7.
Thank you for having me.
You blew us away, and I'm not sure why. I'll reveal something to you right now. Somebody asked me, are you going to watch Tessanne on The Voice? And I said, no, not really, because I've seen and heard Tessanne 14,000 times. I'm glad I did tune in, however. How did all of that come about?
To be honest, it was Shaggy.
Oh, really?
Shaggy came to me with a suggestion, and he was like, you know, there's this opportunity here, and I really think that this would be an amazing stepping stone and platform for you to pursue. And I was like, oh, I don't know, am I even allowed to do that? Like, you know, and he really encouraged me. And Shaggy's one of those people that he's always encouraged me, you know.
He's really persuasive as well.
He is, but he really looks out. So I appreciate it. Big up, Shaggy.
Did you have any reservations about going that route as another step in your career?
You know what, I think at the time I didn't have anything to lose. I think that for me, I had reached every goal here that I wanted to reach, you know, and I want to step out. I want to be an international artist. So what better way? And it's not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. So I was just like, you know what, I'm going to have an open heart and just see what happens with this.
When was the confirmation? How did you know? What kind of process? Not that I'm going to try it next week, but what was the process you went through?
Well, it's actually, to get to that point alone was quite a few different things that we had to go through. We did about 3 auditions to get to that point.
Are you aware, for instance, that everybody, what was it, Monday? Everybody sat through Monday looking out for Tessanne, and then the tweets started flowing and all sorts of threats were going on. Where is our Tessanne? Where is our Tessanne?
Well, I was threatening too.
And then when it came down, people were still watching, still nervous, and then they saw like a teaser come up just after one break, and you knew, because even in the teaser, it was suggested that the coaches, the judges, whatever they're called, were blown away by this performance. As you went book and you step out onto that stage, you don't see them before, right?
No.
So you're stepping out. You know that Adam Levine is there. You know that Aglia Silo and so on are there.
Yes.
When you go boop and step out onto that stage, was it different for you in any way than say coming out in front of a live audience or singing at a concert or jazz and blues or whatever?
Well, I have to say that I am most nervous singing at home. Because I think at home, the Jamaican crowd, because they know what they want, are the toughest crowd. And I think for me, I just had to keep telling myself, it's just another show. It's just another show. Because when you start to going to overthinking it, then I got really nervous. And I remember being on that stage and walking onto that stage and just thinking, it's another show, just sing, you know, and thinking you better catch the key.
What about, speaking of key, you went with Try.
Yes.
By Pink.
Yes.
Why did you choose that song, and how long did it take you to say that's the one I want to do?
I chose that song. That was the song I did most of my auditions with. It was always there somewhere, and I chose that song because not only do I believe that Pink she's a fantastic performer and vocalist, but it was I felt like that's what I was doing. I was getting up and trying again, because anybody in this business know you experience a lot of yes and you experience a lot of no as well. And so for me, this was getting up and saying, well, it didn't work this way, I'm going to get up and try it this way. And I didn't want it to be sad, I wanted it to be an anthem. So I decided to try and sing my heart out as much as I can, but that's why I chose that song.
Did you consider one of your own? Did you consider at any time that, hey, let me go with one of mine?
Well, you know, for me, I wanted this to be a reinvention and, you know, a stepping stone into something a little bit different. I am Tessanne. I will always be Tessanne. But I feel like I've not hidden the fact that I want to try and do different music, and I think, you know, this is a perfect platform for me to do so. I will always have my reggae roots. I can't help but be anything but Jamaican because that's my blood. So definitely reggae is always going to be infected into the music that I do, but I want to see how far I can get as just a vocalist, period.
How much did the studio audience, because as you went and opened your mouth, and I know it wasn't just Cuff and your dad, the whole volume just went up.
I couldn't believe that. That to me moved me as well, because like I was saying before, like, I'm used to my territory, which is Jamaica and, you know, certain parts of the Caribbean. So that really made me nervous, because this is completely new territory. This is a completely new music, a completely new way for me to sing. And excuse me, I just felt like, oh God, like, just please God, let them feel what I'm singing, you know, let them feel what I'm singing. And they did, and that they didn't get to show it because there's so much that happened that wasn't, you know, able to be shown. But I actually kind of got emotional after, because they were just so receptive, and it was it's a lot of pressure. We saw in the clip your husband, Michael Cuff, and we saw your dad, Daddy,
going loopy. Could you hear them behind there, or are they way back out of?
That's the first time I've ever seen that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first time I've ever seen it.
We've seen it over and over.
Oh, I just, you know, for me, especially with my dad, I, of course my husband too, but Daddy saw me say my first word, much as sing my first note, and to see my dad get emotional, because my dad is like a macho man. He don't get emotional for nothing, you know, like very specific things. To see him have that moment meant the world to me, because, you know, at every performance there's mommy or daddy.
Right. And they're not usually that demonstrative, it has to be said. Yeah.
No, they're not. And, you know, that made me cry watching.
Well, as I mentioned, I know quite a few people who were watching it through tears, and I suspect are going to be shedding a tear or two as we go through this interview on Live at 7. We have to take a break. We'll come back with Tessanne in just a moment. All right, we're with Tessanne. So we asked people on Facebook just to give their reaction to the performance on The Voice. And here's what we've got. Camille says, Tessanne has always been my most beloved superstar. She really shone on stage. I couldn't be happier. I may even be more excited than Tessanne herself. That is indeed possible. Tessanne, you're my star. Keep shining as bright as you are, girl. Star Johnson says, my smile was ear to ear when she went on. I was watching The Voice for the first time. Didn't regret it one bit. Yvonne says she was excellent. I enjoyed it. And I'm glad she chose Adam. Everybody seems to like that matchup, by the way. Maxine says, I've watched it more than 20 times already. Each time, Tessanne sounds new. I've already hit up my friends in the USA to ensure that they have voting locked up for the duration of the competition. Parties are already being planned to assist this. Mad things, New York style. And Sequoia says, Tessanne, you gave us a feeling similar to one of the Reggae Boys' Road to France campaigns. A long time, me know you bad still, but we're proud of you. And Luscious says, representation of the highest order. You go, girl. We've got your back. Shine your light and make us proud. We love you. We love you, Tessie. So the process, how much time did you have to wrap your head around it? So once you got there and you know you're part of the auditions, how did you, and what did you do to say, you know, prepare?
Well, we literally found, I mean, there's a lot of preparation. I mean, there's dress rehearsals, there's band rehearsals, there's wardrobe, stuff like that. But you don't know you're auditioning until the day or the night before.
The night before?
Yeah, and in my case, it was like 11:30 at night, and it was like a 5 o'clock call the next morning. And I was up at 1, 2, 3,
Really?
4, and 5 in the morning because I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. The night after I slept like a baby, but I couldn't sleep at all. Too much energy, too much nervous energy.
All right. When it happened, you heard the reaction from the audience, and you saw the chairs spinning around like mad people in there. I mean, I think Aguilera was the first one to go like that, and she heard the first note. Adam was off in a flash. When you see that happening in front of you, and you know what it means, and especially when the 4 turn around, because I'm not being a voice watcher, I'm told that's a rarity. What went through your mind, and could anything go through your mind at that stage?
I just had to be like, you just keep on singing like this is a show, and don't get like distracted, because to me, I wanted to finish my song strong. But I had to do everything in my power not to just drop down on the girl and say, thank you, Jesus. Because me really never did want to come home and flop, take God truth.
Yeah. Was that even a consideration?
Yes, because there were so many people that went up that were so good, and nobody turned, and I was like, oh no, this is very scary. And they tell you, all you need is one. All you need is one chair to be on the show. And I was like, well, please God, just be with me. Please be with me. And when I saw those 3 turn, I was just like, oh, thank you, Jesus, but keep singing.
And the country, to show you the fact that I don't really watch the show, the country western guy, he was right. So he was the last one to turn. It didn't take him that long either. And then they battled for you, right? Because they all want to be your coach. You are looking at people that you've been on stage with superstars before, but you're looking at 2, 3 serious pop icons, and it's country and western. So I couldn't tell you what Blake does. It's got to be the worst music in the world. Anyway.
Don't say that.
What were you a little bit in awe of them at all?
Definitely. I mean, I'm a fan of music, and Christina Aguilera,
right?
Like that, she is the voice. You know what I mean? Like her voice is epic. Adam Levine, CeeLo, Blake, and for me, if anything else, it was just to have these people say that stuff, or to even turn around, was like, wow, maybe I do have something special. Because when you've been singing for so long, and yes, you're making waves or whatever, but you're not getting to where you want to be, you start to doubt yourself. And
I cuss you all the while.
You do. You do.
Without knowing what you've tried to do, and you've tried to go there and do that, and it just baffles me. And we had Clyde McKenzie and Milton Ray on. We were talking about it the Wednesday. That a producer in the States wouldn't just hear you one time and say, come girls, sign here. I suspect that's going to happen a lot now. And we can't really talk about the future because of your contractual arrangements. So when Adam said to you now, come with me, had you already made up your mind?
I had an idea that I wanted to go with Adam from the start, and I was just praying that he'd be one of the people to turn, because I've said this a lot, I really rate him as a musician and as an artist. He has the ability to cross genres very easily. So
another unique voice as well.
Exactly, and he can do pop, he can do rock, he can hear elements of jazz, even reggae, and dance in his music, and I like that. And anybody that knows my music knows that I've never been one to just stick to one thing. I don't like being put in a box.
Right.
And I want to be on this show to grow. I want to learn, right? And I want to see how I can better become the artist that I know I can be in my heart, So
he said, and did he take you aback when he said, you'll win this thing?
It did. I was in shock already. But I was just like, what? Like, no way.
How long after the performance do you actually leave the area?
Immediately.
You're gone?
Yeah, because you don't want to conflict with people that haven't gone yet, or people that haven't gone through. And actually, before the auditions, you're sequestered, so you don't have a phone or access to stuff like that.
Really?
It's basically just you and your roommate waiting it out.
and then you're out of there.
And then as soon as you're done, you're whisked away to a different hotel.
And then when you get to the hotel, are you then allowed to look at the response, particularly from people here in Jamaica?
Well, all that was pre-recorded.
Oh, right. That's right. So
for me,
you would have seen it.
For me, I've had to hold this in for a considerable amount of time. But and so has Cuff and Daddy, and we really did. We didn't want anybody to know, and I can I just say I'm absolutely blown away blown away by the response and the love that everybody has been. I never in my wildest dreams, I keep pinching myself because I think, wow, I cannot believe this. I cannot believe the outpouring, and I just thank you so much because I can't do it without you. Thank you.
Well, as long as it doesn't make you want to hide away. All right, we're going to take a break for the Supreme Ventures. So I know I'm going to serve up some drinks for that. We'll be back on Live at 7 with Tessanne in a couple of minutes or so.
Just so much more in the end. I never could imagine waking up in the morning without you next to me. And even though our love is gone, there was a time.
All right, welcome back to Live at 7. We're talking to Tessanne Chin. Of course, if you were living on Mars, Cloud9, somewhere else, you would not have heard about her performance on The Voice, where she created a major storm. Not just here in Jamaica, but indeed for everybody who watches the show in the US. You know, you talked about genres and so on. And I think you mentioned it there that while you were in the UK, you really fell in love with rock music.
Yes.
Just aside from that show, in your thinking about going international, would it still have been fusion, or could you have, could you see yourself being an out-and-out rock performer?
I think for me, I can't do anything and not have an island or a Jamaican flair because that's who I am. And I've always been very adamant about making music that is true to me because then I'll sing it in that way.
Right.
And so no matter what I do, no matter what type of music or genre, it's always going to have that swag to it because that's who I am vocally as a musician.
I wonder what the judges would think when you lick a DJ style.
Lord, you think they're ready for it? Lord Jesus.
Did you really feel like when Levine mentioned that that's his favorite music, reggae music, and you can hear it in a lot of Maroon 5 songs that there is some of that swag as well. Did that really touch you?
It did, because that means a lot to us. I mean, it means a lot to me. I mean, this is the music of our country, and it's a heritage. It goes far beyond just what we think it is. It's so big, and to hear Adam Levine say that was just something that further, made us realize that it is the greatest music in the world. Definitely.
I thought the bomb comment of the night was when Aguilera managed to pick up, because anybody who's known you or seen you often off stage and hear how would hear how you speak and how you relate, is that there is a sensitivity there. There is a very much a niceness there and a easiness with people to go with this incredible voice. And she went like that. and picked up on it, which I found interesting.
I was very, very touched by that. Very honored by that.
Is it The Messenger?
Yes.
That was like the next one to Hideaway, no?
Yes. Yes.
And I remember you giving me a CD which had the two and maybe one other one. And I thought your voice was more compelling, powerful, incredible on Messenger.
You did?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Do you find that here in Jamaica that people respond to that voice, which is, frankly, it's just, I find it unbelievable. I've said to you before, I've never heard a voice like that. Do people in Jamaica respond to that? Or is it the songs that you sing because there is a little fusion in there? Or is it that they just like when they see Tessanne on stage?
I don't know. I don't know. If I could tell you that, I'd probably have a song on the radio every week. I think a special song is just a special song because of how it touches people and how it reaches people and how it speaks to them. And I don't think there's a particular formula for that. I think you just get very blessed and very lucky when you happen to come across.
But it's more than luck because you write your songs, right?
I do, but I mean, like I said, if I could write something like that every day, I probably would. But it's just, I think timing has everything to do with it as well. And whatever touches people at the time, I don't think there's a definite science to it.
How receptive are you for other people writing for you?
I'm more receptive now because I've grown up and
Oh,
I'm
really?
more mature. And for me, it's not just about, oh, but I want to write my own music. I definitely want to write my own music. But I think it's good to have the opportunity to have someone stretch your horizons and stretch your mind and stretch what you think you can do by, you know, learning from them. And that to me was the whole reason I wanted to be a part of this, because I'm not done learning. I'm not done. I feel like I have it in me to get better.
Tessanne, you're not 60, you know.
No, but
You're still,
meaning that I know a lot of people were like, oh, well, she's established already or whatever. Not to me. You know, there's a lot more that I am yet to accomplish, and I need to learn these steps to do that, or else I would have probably done it already. So.
And in writing lyrically, has your obviously your influences have changed. You're a married woman now, so do you write about your experiences, and do you continue to do so and include all the changes that go on in your life?
Definitely. I mean, for me, writing has always been an outlet. That's been my form of therapy, if you can say. And you know, whatever I'm feeling at the time, and I have the ability to look at somebody's situation as well and kind of try to put myself in that situation and see how I would feel about that and write it out. But yeah, definitely, it's weird, but I find when I'm most creative writing, and I hate to say this, is when I'm going through a tough place. And I don't know, maybe that's the light that comes from the darkness, but there's a time when I'm just writing constantly, and there's a time I'm just like, I don't even like what I'm writing. I'm not even going to finish that, you know? And it just sounds the same as everything else. So it's a process.
How do you relax? Because I think you said...
You know how I relax.
Hold on one second. Because you started singing at what? You went in front of a mic at 5.
Yes.
And it's been non-stop ever since. So how do you chill out? And
I chill out. I like to cook. I like to have Cuff cook for me because he's an excellent cook.
Is he?
He is.
Okay.
And I like to be with my family, and I like to be with my friends. I think there's no better way. And once in a while, I like to go out, but I'm not really the go out kind of person. I'm more of a chill. I like movies.
Notice.
Yeah.
What about that business of a mic coming in front of you at 5? I'm not going to ask you if you knew then, but did your dad know then? Or did your mom know then?
I think my mom picked up because I was always singing, and I think that was her wake-up call to be like, okay, maybe I should put her in like a Little People, or you know, something like that, to just help her to get it out.
That's with
but it's their
Tatty
fault,
right?
because they're always rehearsing around us, so I don't think I had a choice.
Right. And I know you're not going to say they were. Were they ever pushy?
No.
Did you ever feel like,
I was the one
I'd
pushing.
rather go, you know?
No, I was the one going, Mommy, I want to sing, I want to sing, I want to sing, Mommy, I want to sing, I want to do this. And I remember being 12 and talking about record companies. It's just like, you're 12. Like, what are you talking about?
And the voice that you have now, when did that come on the scene? Because I don't understand transition, and I know what happens to boys and so on in terms of the voice breaking and so on. But what happens to your voice over the period of time, and what do you do to it?
For me, I just sang every day, and it wasn't even because, I mean, afterwards you train, because I think that's very important to learning how to use your instrument and to protect it. But I just sang every day because I just love to sing, you know.
Well, so did I, but it hasn't helped one job. And do you have to do anything? Do you have to eat anything special? Do you have to take anything special? Can you only drink warm water?
I stay away from dairy when I'm going to do a show or when I'm going to do something like that. And I stay relaxed. I have a humidifier to keep the air nice and moist, especially if you're over there in a hotel room. I'm not the best at keeping my voice nurtured all the time. I do naughty things to it sometimes, so I'm not a saint. But yeah, I mean, there is a certain level of care that you have to take with your voice, like warming it up, you know.
Right. The other thing is, I've seen you in about 62 different hairstyles.
Good Lord, not that many.
How much?
One new little hairstyle.
How much goes into your look for the voice? And do they have like advisors and fashionistas who say, right, well, this, that, and the other?
They do. They have a pretty impressive wardrobe and hair and makeup team. But for I think that with this, they wanted to show you as you are.
As you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
And you were wonderful as
Thank
you are. All right, we take a break. We'll come back with a final segment with Tessanne in just a moment. All right, welcome back to Live at 7. We've got Tessanne with us just for a few minutes more. More Facebook comments, by the way. Simone says she's wonderful. I'm never tired of listening to the audition, especially what the judges said. I love it and I love her. Go girl. Michelle says, all I can say from the minute she opened her mouth, it was goosebumps all over. Oh, that's the other phrase I kept hearing, goosebumps. Goosebumps all over my body. I love Pink and her music, but trust me, that song was written specifically for Tessanne. She made that song her own. And she says, you go, girl.
Thank you, Michelle.
Javon says, Tessanne, you got the entire package. Tonal quality, range, diction. You choose a really good platform to broadcast yourself and your music. Continue hitting those notes. It's going to be an easy win for you, just like Adam said.
Oh, thank you.
Taj Rain says, it was fantastic. I loved every second of it. About 20 times watching the Obsession book. I even Googled her, so you know it's bad. Just want to say I'm extremely proud, and I do hope that you stay sweet and humble, win or lose. The world now knows you. Rashid says, not just your voice, but that $1 billion smile will make you a winner. She is blushing in here, people. And Aisha says, Tessanne, you've made me proud by just representing our beautiful land. Win or lose, I will cheer you on to the end. Go make your bread and butter. and turn it in a steak. Oh dear.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you.
We were talking during the break about how you make songs, and it's always struck me how people who do what you do, who go and the fits into where it's supposed to fit in, and you come up with those things. But I've always wondered, and I've asked virtually every singer, musician that I've spoken to, how would you know when you come up with Hideaway or Message or so on, that it's not some subconscious song that you've heard from before?
I think also, my mom always says this, there's nothing new under the sun. Right? So music is made up of a scale. Or a scale, and they're different scales. And to me, and this, I remember watching this clip on YouTube where they use a chord C, G, D, and E to play like 20 songs straight. And it's just what you put on it. It's yours because you do what you do on it, and nobody does it like you. So that's just how it becomes individual. But it is music. Songs are songs. They're other songs, and they go into this song, and they go into that song. But they're yours because they're yours. And they're your words, so. And
they'll always be your
and
words.
your melodies, yes.
Were you ever disheartened? Did you ever question yourself and say, you know what? Let me try something else.
Definitely.
Really? What got you through those moments?
My family and my faith. My faith, because I kept saying, God, if you give me this talent, if you give me this gift, you want me to go to something else? You want me to go be mediocre?
You want me to be a mechanic or
something else? And if that's your will, I will do it, But for me, I made a decision last year that was a big decision for me. Because, you always question things. And I decided, you know what? It's singing. This is what I've been put here to do, and stop questioning it. So if it means I'm going to be singing on a big stage, or if it means I'm going to be singing in a hotel or a theater, or it doesn't matter. I was put here to sing. And as long as I'm singing, I'm fulfilling my gift.
Tell people this. There was a group of lords and MPs from the UK who came down here, must have been, I don't know, time flies, could have been early last year. And they came down here to play cricket and so on. All of these MPs and lords and ladies and whatnot. And they had a function at Devon House. And they had a performer there. So all of a sudden, I think she sang Adele that night. She'll correct me if I'm wrong. But all of a sudden, you hear this voice come out, and then she walks out into just a little area. I don't think there could have been more than 30 people there. And the performance was no different then than it was on The Voice, than it was on a major stage, than it was on Shaggy's stage. And these lords, when they spun around and saw who was singing, their knees started knocking and so on. And that's what freaks me out about you, because that was in front of about 30 people. And you do the same thing if it's in front of 300. That can't be easy.
But you know what I think though, and I think I've learned well from Mr. Cliff. I saw Mr. Cliff every night for about 3 months put on the show of his life. And it didn't matter if it was Glastonbury or some big festival or a club. He put on the show of his life, because for those people, and my mom always told me this as well, you go and you prepare like it's the biggest show, because those people came to see you. And it's your responsibility to give a show, So for me, it's not just about singing a song. For me, this is, I believe, what I've been put here to do, and it's for me to share that with people and to share it in the best way possible.
It's funny you mentioned like Glastonbury and so on. When you were a youngster, was there...
Lord Jesus, and what me
younger stir. Was there a show that you wanted to be on? Did you ever imagine yourself singing a particular song or doing...
Definitely.
Yeah?
I think of like the Grammys. I dream big, eh?
Right.
Sorry,
No, good.
The MTV Awards, stuff like that. The Oscars. And picture myself singing in a huge stadium. I remember when I used to live in England, our view was a brick wall.
Yes, as it often is there.
Yeah. And I used to pretend on every single one of those bricks
Was
was like a row of seats, and I'd just be singing, and the neighbors would be like, "Hey!" I had very, very, very cool neighbors, and that's just, I don't know. I've just always wanted to sing.
All right, let's get personal now.
Jesus,
what's
help me,
been the
Lord.
response from family, from Cufflet, to everything? That's my
You're so
nickname for him.
naughty.
Yeah. What's been the did they just take it in their stride because it's you and they've seen you do it over and over, or
They're
people?
super proud of me, and like I said, I got to experience that for the first time with my sister and with Wayne, because they weren't, she was very heavily pregnant at the time.
Right.
I couldn't fly out for it. But also my mom, she's in England, and she got to watch it on the NBC
Yes.
site. My brothers, and I actually have a brother who is in Colorado, so he's experiencing it from the state point of view. And they're proud and they're happy for me. And especially my sister, there was a moment there where we just hugged each other and just kind of had a little sob for a good minute, because she knows.
Right.
She knows more than anybody what we've both been through.
Right.
And I do this for not just me, I do it for her, as well, because she has inspired me.
It's incredible how, you guys work out that what could be potentially difficult when she went over, or you doing this now. Is there an absence of sibling rivalry?
Let me tell you something. Sibling rivalry for Tammy and I went away when we realized that we were all we had. And at the end of the day, when you're going through situations, good and bad, when people are talking wonderful things about you like now, or when people are being mean, and I think God blessed me with the fact that I have somebody there that knows exactly what I'm going through. Like I can say, yo, Tammy, so-and-so happened today, and she knows.
Perfect.
Because she's been through it, and she is such a real person, and she's a wise woman in a way that she'll be like, listen, Tess, shake that off, or don't, whatever. And I can't say I love her enough. She's a beautiful mom.
I'm sure.
Great mom.
We love you plenty as well.
Thank you.
You've managed to achieve something, which is to get me to watch a reality show for the first time, but I will be watching you for the rest of the time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best.
Thank you
it's
so
all out
much.
there. We feel that, we
Thank
own
you.
you. So
Thank you.
it's been wonderful.
I appreciate it. I want to say thank you so much once again for all the love and support. You have no idea. I'm just absolutely blown away. Thank you so much. Thank you. I love you.